Now, y'all already know what time it is. It is time for the mess. So let's get into it, you guys. And what's going on, y'all? This be your boy, Scattered by Nature TV, and we're here for a brand new episode of Yes for the Mess, where we talk about celebrity gossip, hot topics, and all things reality TV based. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful Sunday, and I intend on doing the exact same. What's going on, you guys? Okay, now before we get into today's mess, you already know that we got to start off with the church announcements, especially being that it's on a Sunday. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, as you guys already know, tonight is Sunday night, meaning it is the Real Housewives of Atlanta Day. We're back after a 2-week hiatus, and we will be doing a live review on the show right after the show is over. The link is already available, so go ahead and click live on the homepage, go down to it, and you will see it. We will be going live 5 minutes after the show is over, so make sure you guys tune in, because of course we always go live every night after the Housewives of Atlanta. And also the very next day, which is tomorrow, is the Whether You Like It or Not panel, and it will be on Josiah's World TV's platform, so make sure you guys tune in as we all as a collective discuss this new episode of the Housewives of Atlanta. Boys Night Out will be returning this summer, and we will be meeting together this week to talk about the new season of the show. And after we meet up, we will be getting ready for promotional stuff and everything else. So make sure you guys tune in for a fun night. We're going to have us a great time, okay? So make sure you guys tune in. And also on Wednesday night, it is Roast and Review. So make sure you guys tune into that as well, as myself, Terrence, and Josiah talks about the new episode of Love and Hip Hop ATL. So with that being said, you guys, that's it for the church announcements. So let's go ahead and get into the mess. So we're going to start this thing off with these two right here, Kim and Kroy Biermann. We're going to start it off with them. Now, y'all know they've been in the news. They've been filing for a divorce. They've been going through a nasty public divorce. Not only that, they broke as hell. They into debt. Kim owed Target some money. It's just a whole lot of stuff going on. But apparently they've come to a come to Jesus moment, and they are now calling off their divorce. That's shocking, isn't it? So with that being said, we're going to go over here to the neighborhood talk, and let's look at the article and let's discuss it. So it says, after all that, Kim Zolciak and Kroy Biermann call off their divorce and reportedly want to work it out for the sake of their kids. Now, neighbors, now this is absolutely crazy. After weeks of back and forth between Kim Zolciak and Kroy Biermann, the two have oddly called off their divorce. According to court documents obtained by TMZ, Kim and Kroy filed Friday to dismiss their petitions for divorce. Sources close to the situation say that the two are really getting along well at the moment and want to figure out how to make things work out, especially for the sake of their 4 young kids. Love reportedly was never an issue between the two, and they got a solid core according to the source. After all that, child, this is so toxic. Thoughts, neighbors, okay? Now, before we get into my opinion, let's get into the opinions of the people that was in the comments. And you know I love to read the comments when we on the neighborhood talk. Someone says, I know you effing lying, not after them calling the police on each other every other day for the last month. Then someone else said, they both trying to get back on TV with that BS, pulling for a storyline. Then someone said, I said that months ago. They were never divorcing. They needed exposure to get money to pay them bills. I wouldn't be surprised. Someone said, man, bye. Stop talking to us about them. Gotta stay out of married folk business. Okay, let's see. It's given we fight, weep, and make up. Someone said, I hope not. Okay. Everybody's laughing. Somebody said, bye week. Okay. Someone said, Kim, okay, Kroy, and cut. Now let's wait on this new contract. Okay. Someone said they done bought all them 911 people for nothing. Okay. So everybody's not really here for this news. Okay. And let me tell y'all something. Let me just tell y'all. I could really give a damn, okay? Because I was actually tired of talking about Kim and Kroy. Let's just be honest. I've been tired of talking about them. Because I just always felt like all of this was some BS, and all of this was just a way for them to get back on TV. Because they ain't got no money, and Kim is willing to do anything for some money, and she ain't got Big Papa no more, so she can't pop it for pimp no more. So she needed to do whatever she needed to do, have all this publicity, so Bravo can pick her up and put her back on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, because that's what it was giving. It was giving. I want that Bravo check again. So I need for them to either put me back on the Housewives of Atlanta or put back Don't Be Tardy, because that's gonna be that people gonna tune in this time. They gonna want to watch and see what's going on with me and Kroy. So yeah, we're gonna see what's going on. And then after a while, when we realize we ain't gonna get that contract, baby, we finna just go ahead and say, oh, we're not gonna get a divorce. We just playing. If y'all don't get the fuck up out of here with this BS, for real, because that's what it is. It's all BS. Like, y'all calling 911 on each other, talking about, because y'all getting along well, but just last week, Kim was out here saying that he was finna call and put kidnapping charges on her and all types of stuff. Like, y'all been fighting nasty publicly for some time now, and now all of a sudden y'all getting along. I'm not saying that people cannot fix their relationships or fix their marriages and get in a better place. I'm not saying that at all, but it just looked weird to me, and it's just like, girl, what are y'all doing? What the hell are y'all doing? Do you even know what the fuck y'all doing? Do you even know how the fuck y'all look in this like in this situation? Because y'all look real crazy. Like, y'all, like, it does look like y'all are only doing this just for some attention. And I hate when people put their marriages on the line and put their relationships on the line just for the sake of a storyline, just for the sake of, being in the public eye and trying to get a check. You know what I mean? Because that's what it looked like. Because y'all broke. Y'all in major debt. And it's hard to feel bad for Kim. She got a hood, but she just don't wear it. Her and a damn husband. And on top of that, it was so funny because everybody was sitting up here crying and talking about Kim should come back even after all that bullshit that she pulled the last time she was on the show. She thinks she better than all these women on this show. So why the fuck would anybody want her to be coming back on this motherfucking show? That's all I'm saying. I don't want Kim back, and I don't want to see her in my midst. Bad enough, she gonna be on this new episode that's coming on tonight for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Bad enough. So I don't want to see her. I'm just being honest. I don't want to see high. I don't want to see high. I don't want to see high. And that's just the bottom line of the situation. I don't want to see her ass. I'm just being real. I don't want to see her, and that's just that. But I'm not surprised. Like, y'all done did all that, put all of us in a group chat for all these months, and now y'all want to sit up here and say, "Oh, we're in a better place. We're gonna make it work out for the kids." See, that be the first thing y'all make a mistake with. Y'all love to use the kids as a way to be like, we gonna work through this toxic ass marriage for the sake of the kids. Don't make this be about the children. Y'all want to make this work for your own personal gain. And just be real about that. Y'all want to make this work for your own personal gain. Y'all want to make this work because y'all want to make it work. Y'all don't want to make it work for no kids. Like, it ain't about the kids. I hate when people say they want to do it for the kids. Don't do it for the kids if your heart really ain't in it. And this is just a moment that I'm just being honest. Like, I'm not being judgmental. I hate when marriages are going through this toxic thing, and they're doing horrible things to each other. Like, they're going public with things, they're calling the police, they're doing all types of horrible stuff to each other. And then when the going gets tough, the first thing that they want to say is, well, we're going to do it for the kids. We're going to stick around for the kids. We're going to do this for the sake of the kids. We're going to stay in this toxic ass relationship where we're both not happy for the sake of the kids. Don't let the kids, because y'all not doing it for the children, because y'all ain't doing nothing but subjecting your kids to your toxicity. That's what you're doing. I'm saying that because I'm a living witness to that. My mama stayed with my stepfather for a long time, and it's not because she wanted to. It's because of the fact that with me and my sister, with our father left, and it hurt me, and it affected me for most of my days. So she did not want my brother to grow up in the house without his dad, and that's why she stuck around for the long time, endured all the things that she endured. But in all reality, it did nothing but damage us. Her, me, my sister, my brother. It didn't do anything but damage us because you made that decision. So I'm gonna need for people to realize, don't make decisions like that and say we're only doing it for the children, but you don't realize how detrimental that mentality can be for your children. You feel what I'm saying? Like, don't ever stick around just for that, because you're not happy. You also got to put yourself first. I get that your kids are very important, but you also got to put yourself, your mental health, and everything first. And if you're not happy and you know that this relationship is not good for you, whether your kids will want the parents together or not, they can still have their father. They can still have their mother. But at the same time, y'all don't need to be together just because of two people, just because of your children. No. I don't think I ever agree with that. I don't think I will ever agree to that at all. I'll never be here for that at all. I'm just being real. But we can move on to the next story. And the next story is Miss Monique Samuels. Okay. Now, Miss Monique took to Instagram Live where she explained why her and Chris Samuels are going through a divorce, and she said that it was very important for her and Chris to file for a divorce so their children don't think that it's okay to stay in a relationship to make them happy. And that's exactly what I just stated when we were just talking about Kim and Kroy. When they're talking about they're going to be in a relationship for the sake of the kids, or they're going to do this for the sake of the kids. It's not good because you're giving them the wrong impression. It's okay to be in a relationship where you're not happy. It's okay to be in a relationship where it's toxic and it's not good for your mental, but we're only doing it for the sake of the children. And Monique is saying that it was important for her to file because it's not okay to be in a relationship that don't make you happy. And it doesn't make you happy. Like you should not be in a relationship that doesn't make you happy. Don't stay for certain reasons. Stay because that's what you want. But what we're gonna do now, we're gonna go ahead and listen in on what Monique had to say, and then we're gonna come back with my opinion, and then we're gonna move on to the very last story. All right. So let's get into what Miss Monique Samuels had to say in regards to her divorce. Let's get into it.
Reach that moment of like, you know what, is are we growing? Is are we stagnant? Are we moving? Like, what's going on? And then you also have to consider the fact that we have three children, who are watching us. Our actions and how we interact with each other, how we run our household, that is literally an example for our children of how they're going to live their life. And I don't want our children to ever be in a relationship where they feel like they're not being heard, whether that's on my side or Chris's side, talking at each other, like the marriage becomes like a battlefield. So you get to a point where you also have to consider the fact that we have three little people that are literally looking at us and they're taking notes and they're like, okay, this is what's normal. And it's not normal. So yeah, so that's where we are. You guys don't have to be sorry. It's just a part of life. Unfortunately, sometimes it happens. Some people stay married forever. Some people don't. My parents were married for 23 years and got divorced. I know couples that have been married for 60 years and they're miserable and they literally let their whole life just fade away, So it's really what you make it. And if you get to a point where you're like, you know what, we have grown so far apart that it may be best that we focus on ourselves individually and then focus to a point where you feel like you've reached that moment of like, you know what, are we growing? Is
Let me see if there's more to this on the Jasmine brand because I know that she posted some things about this as well because I really want to know more about this. You feel what I'm saying? Okay, there go the Jasmine brand right there. So let me go ahead and see if I can pull this up because I know that she posted something also about what Monique Samuels had to say because I thought that this was that was some great advice. If it's not the same exact thing, then I can move on and just talk about what I'm what my opinions are on this. So give me 1 second, you guys. Let's go ahead. Let me see something here. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, there's more. She said something about them growing apart. Okay, let's get into it, y'all.
like the marriage becomes like a battlefield. So you get to a point where you also have to consider the fact that we have three little people that are literally looking at us and they're taking notes and they're like, okay, this is what's normal. And it's not normal. So yeah, so that's where we are. You guys don't have to be sorry. It's just a part of life. Unfortunately, sometimes it happens. Some people stay married forever. Some people don't. My parents were married for 23 years and got divorced. I know couples that have been married for 60 years and they're miserable and they literally let their whole life just fade away, So it's really what you make it. And if you get to a point where you're like, you know what, we have grown so far apart that it may be best that we focus on ourselves individually and then focus on the three important people in our lives, which is our children. And that's what we decided to do. So let me see. How do you keep out the noise and find your balance and peace during this time? So one of the major things for me has been really finding myself. I've been on this self-love journey. I never realized how much I didn't love myself. That was like a huge revelation, because I always felt, because I'm a very secure person, I thought that that was self-love. I wasn't aware of myself, I was completely unaware of myself. Even watching last year when we were on Love and Marriage DC, I mean, I was going through it. Like, I was yelling, I was upset. That was me crying out. That was me like really fighting. Like, I was like on my last leg fighting for my marriage, and really hoping that we could see where each other was, and try to get on the same page. But when I look back on it, even with the editing trickery, at the end of the day, my response was still my response, and I take accountability for that. And I wouldn't want to be with a person like that. That is just like, yeah. But I also realized that my approach became that because I was so desperate, like, to be heard. I was so desperate, like, come on, we got to make this work. But then you get to a point where you realize that begins to tear you down, yourself and the other person. And then you're trying to pick up the pieces and build it back. And it just becomes this roller coaster, like the marriage becomes like a battlefield.
Okay, so that was Monique Samuels basically speaking about, her issues with the marriage and why she decided to go and move the way that she did move with her marriage. And honestly, it's like night and day, just like I said. It's really night and day, honestly. And I'm only saying that because of the fact that, you got Kim and Kroy, who are also Bravo celebrities that are going through a divorce. And now they decided not to go through the divorce because they wanted to stay and work things out for the sake of the children. And they feel like they're getting along now. So now we can be like, okay, we're going to stop this. We're going to stop acting the way that we are. And we're going to stop, being in this position. So right now we're going to go ahead and just try to force this thing to work out because we got kids. And like I said, it's like night and day, because I literally just said that I don't like it when people use the whole notion of, we got kids together, so we got to make this thing work out because we got kids together. Although we're not happy in this situation, we're going to stick it out for them. And I like the fact that Monique said it's very imperative that we make moves for this. If we're going to make moves for the sake of the kids, we got to show them what's the right thing and what's the wrong thing. The right thing is to be a part. Sorry, y'all. The right thing is to be a part of a marriage that fulfills you. Be a part of a marriage or a relationship that fulfills you, gives you everything that you desire and what you want, and what will help grow you and elevate you and make you better. Not a relationship that we're going to stand by and stand in for the sake of toxicity, and just to say that we got a man or we got a woman or we got kids, so we got to stay together. No, that's not a way you should ever move. And I'm a firm believer in doing what makes you happy. I get that you got them kids. I get that you got a life together and you created this life and you created this family. But it's never okay to stay in a relationship when you know that you're not happy and you don't see it turning around. Now, marriages and relationships, they all have their ups and downs. I've been in enough relationships to know that they have their ups and downs. Sometimes you're going to be on your ups, so you're going to be so in love with each other and y'all are happy to be around each other and it's all of this stuff. But then at the same time, you're going to have your moments where it's a downward thing and you can't necessarily, it's a downward thing. You can't really get with it. You know what I mean? You can't really do too much. Like, it's down. You got to figure your way. You got to figure out if you want to go back up or not. And you got to try to work that way. If y'all really love each other and it's salvageable, then y'all can fix it. But if you know that it's not anything that you can fix, or even if it's even worth fixing, there's no need to stay there just because you got a child. You want to bring your child up in a marriage or a relationship where you can see that even though there's ups and downs, that we can work on it and we can really work on it the right way. But you don't want to stay in a relationship with people when you got kids and you showing that we're sticking around just to say we got a man, or we sticking around just to say we got a woman. You're not happy nor fulfilled, and your kids are not going to be fulfilled just because their parents are together. I'm just being honest. So shout out to Monique for actually coming on there and just saying what she felt. So we're going to go on to this very last story, and that is Kimmi and Maurice Scott from Love and Marriage Huntsville. They did an interview with Fox Soul for TGIF. And I haven't really heard the whole thing, so we're gonna do like a listen along with this, and yeah, we're gonna do that, and we're gonna see how that works out, child. So let's go ahead and get into it because they've been out there now, and yeah. So let's go ahead and get into it, you guys. Wait a minute, let's do this the right way. All right, there you go. So let's get into it, y'all.
Kimmi, I'd like to give you the opportunity to respond to a headline. A sad case of a man. Love and Marriage Huntsville fans slam Maurice for demanding intimacy while Kimmi goes through chemotherapy. Kimmi, what is your response to the backlash that Maurice has been getting lately?
So here's the thing, like originally, I didn't even watch it. He told me he had an interview with Carlos, and usually I just kind of get the nuts and bolts of it. You know, he was like, well, we did this. He asked me about that, and I didn't do anything. And then when I finally saw stuff just kind of everywhere, I was like, oh my gosh, what did you say? I literally was like, what did you say? And so one of the comments somebody keeps screenshotting around is the fact that I said, let me go see the interview. And people were like, I don't believe she hasn't seen it. And I just got likes, like we got stuff. So when I actually did see it, I told him, I said, that was disrespectful. Like the words that you chose were cruel to me. It wasn't protecting me. The irony of the conversation in itself was that if you actually watch the show, I'm the one who initiated the conversation in regards to the fact that the chemo has affected my libido. And I know that affects him and his sexual injuries. So he has never forced me to do one single thing. He has never made me. He has never implied he was going to leave me. So the headlines, in order to get likes and tags, I absolutely get it. But the words that he chose to use throughout that interview, I felt were a bad choice of words in regards to me because it didn't protect me in the words that he chose to use to describe. Like, I think he said, bend over and take it. That's like ridiculous. Like, that's ridiculous. And I told him, I said, it was awful. The wording choice was awful.
You know, I want to jump in and say something real quick. I was horrified too with some of the language. And I spoke about having a situation where it was the reverse. I had a man that had some issues. I want to ask both of you. Kimmi, I want to ask you first, do you feel the pressure? Like if I don't satisfy my man, even when I don't feel good, am I nervous? Do I feel a way about the future of my marriage? And Maurice, if you could take back what you said, would you rephrase it or do you stand on exactly what you said?
So for me, like I said, we filmed it and everything. For Kimmi, I never felt like he was going to leave me. That wasn't the case whatsoever. However, even before our chemo issue came up, we already had conversation about our sex life. We talked about our sex life before we got married. So this is like an honest statement. In Kimmi's world, I had made up in my head 7 days was the limit. Like, I would never make my husband go more than 7 days. I don't care if we're angry. I don't care what's going on. That was always Kimmi's rule in her head. And so in this case, we went about 2 weeks and I was like, ugh. So it was my choice because I know that that's fulfilling for both of us.
Kimmi. This is already making my head hurt. Okay, this is already making my head hurt because she's really out here defending and windmilling for Maurice. And I get that she's doing that because that's her husband. Like, I understand that's why she's doing it. But at the same time, though, it's just like, girl, he's getting dragged because with the way that he put it out there. He made it seem like the sex, him getting a wham bam, thank you, ma'am, was way more important than what you're dealing with. He put his own foot in his mouth, and that is the reason why y'all are getting dragged and getting judged for that. You got to blame your husband for that. And I get you admit that his wording was terrible, but I just feel like you're making excuses and you are sweeping what he said under the rug, and you are doing that. And I don't like that, Kimmi. And it's coming across like you're being, and I don't like to use that word, pick me. I don't like to use it. And even though I've used it quite a bit, I don't like to use it, but that's how it's coming across. You're doing whatever you can to try to sit and excuse what this man has said out there in that interview. He made himself look like a complete pompous asshole. That's how he made himself look. And there's nothing that you can say. There's nothing that you can try to do to try to change the narrative with this, because you can't change it. He's an asshole. Okay? He is. There's nothing you can do to change that. And that's his own fault. And that's just the truth. That's his own fault. But however, we're going to go ahead and we're going to continue to listen to this because my head hurt. I need an Advil, a lead, Tylenol, something, Bayer, something. Let's go ahead and get back into this, child, because baby.
It's fulfilling for both of us. Like at the end of the day, he's not the only one missing out. I'm missing out because I don't have the same climax. I don't have the same arousal. You know what I'm saying? So I never had that conversation based on the fact that I thought he was going to leave. I know I love my husband and that is a big part of our world. I don't physically hurt. It doesn't hurt me to have sex. It doesn't.
But that's what he said. He said you can roll over and suffer and still try to please him. That's what he said. But okay, Kimmi. All right, girl.
It doesn't do that whatsoever. It was just the arousal of the moment in the climax that is very different for me. So I'm just not getting the same fulfillment out of the sexual activity that he was.
We got it. So let's get Maurice in here. Maurice, do you think it was selfish for you to force your wife to suffer through it while she was fighting for her life?
Absolutely.
Your words. Now, those are my words, and I'm going to own the words that I say. However, you have to take everything into full context. I didn't have knowledge of her suffering. I didn't have knowledge of her rolling over and giving it to me when she didn't want to, right? Or didn't feel the need to. At the end of the day, this is the thing. She surprised the hell out of me on television, talking about, you know what? I'm not getting it. I'm faking it. All that stuff. Like, listen, it's on national TV. So I'm like, oh, really? So you're faking it. This whole time I'm thinking that you're doing it. And it puts everything into context when you watch the television show and then you actually see the interview. Because for me to find out that she's faking it, and then for me to analyze a situation and say, it's admirable for her to do this because, number one, most people that do things for you let you know that they're doing it for you. They don't let you find out later on, oh, wow, you were actually hurting or you were going through something and you were sharing that and you were doing it for me. So, of course, I would change my words and give better context in any type of interview. However, I still play
You don't
do it.
You don't think it was a little cringy to even want to have sex with her while she was going through that? And I ask that because typically if somebody's not feeling well, we don't make them cook. We don't make them wash the dishes. We may not make them take the kids to school, and all of those things are oftentimes considered a wife's duty. You didn't think it would be all right for her to forego that one duty while she was going through this?
See, this is the thing. We weren't doing it on the day she wasn't feeling good. Unless I didn't know that either.
Interesting.
annoyed, irritated. I I don't. And listen, Funky is asking the right questions. Don't get me wrong, but it's them two. Yeah. Continue. Just continue, Scotty. Just continue.
Interesting.
So can you ask you earlier, would you rephrase anything that you said? Because it seemed your wife just revealed that it was your words, right? And how you said things, bend over and take it. If you, I've done this many times. I've said stuff and it's like, I wish I would have said it like this. Would you rephrase anything? Would you do over, or are you like, no, I meant it exactly?
Definitely. Anytime my wife feels like she's not protected by whatever I do, that's my job. That's why God gave her to me, is to make sure that I have a covering and protection over her at all times. And if she feels like my words are crass, then I'll change my words. I'm not one of those people that say, man, I said what I said. Now, mind you, that's a great quote and everything else that goes around social media. I said what I said. I don't even know where that came from. But
Candy.
I'm not one of those people. It came from
Candy on the Housewives of Atlanta. She said it on one of the reels.
but I'm not one of them. I said what I said. I said what I said. Hold on, let me say it better the next time.
So I know y'all probably been through this, and we know Martell and Melody have gone through this. The fans have been voicing their opinion about Maurice's remarks, and many of them are saying, Kimmi should leave the relationship. Obviously, you're not going nowhere, but has all this scatterbutt from the fans affected you guys' relationship in any way?
I actually really don't care what people say that don't love me. Like, they love me one day and they hate me the next. I don't really care what Kimmi says. If Kimmi says it offends her, guess what? I'll be changing. If Monster says it offends him, Jalen, any of the kids, guess what? I'll change. But
I think
It's
that's.
a moment in time being on, television that we have to take a lot of comments, whether we agree, don't agree. I usually take most of them with a grain of salt most of the time. However, I think, some of our fans to me just go overboard, like really for real. But in general, I felt like a lot of them were warranted, that the communication, it was crass. I mean, it was crass and, non-protecting, disrespectful. A lot of those comments were on point.
And I gotta say this as the woman here, and I'm sorry, Al, I know you haven't had a chance to say anything. I still haven't heard him rephrase it in a kinder way right here on the show. I've been trying to give you the opportunity because I feel like your wife is protecting you more than you're protecting her. I feel like she's protecting your back, and I'm like, Kimmi, I should have said it like this. I'm sorry. And it's like, I feel so bad for her. I can't imagine going through what she's going through. You saying that, and then me asking you twice if you would rephrase it, and you said, yeah, but you really haven't. It seems like it's more about you than her still, in my opinion. It's just my opinion, and you can tell me shut the fuck up if you want to. It's just my opinion,
Let me.
no, I understand where you're coming from. And what I said is, you got to get it in the context. I'm not going to rephrase. You said, would I rephrase it? Yes, I would rephrase it. But at the end of the day, we're talking about this because I've already said something, right? There's no taking it back. There's no ringing that bell. That bell's rung. That's why we're here. At the end of in the future, what I will do is I'll make sure that my wife feels protected. I don't feel any different about the situation. At the end of the day, my wife did something that most people won't do. Simply, she put her personal feelings aside. I never wanted her to do anything that was uncomfortable. I wanted her to stop working. I wanted her to put everything to the side and let's get better. So when she's doing things to find a sense of normalcy in life, guess what? I don't know, because I'm not inside of her, what makes her feel good, what doesn't make her feel good, when she's feeling good, when she's not. So at the end of the day, you know what? I just don't.
Maurice, I feel that. Maurice and Kimmi, let's switch gears a little bit. This season on Love and Marriage Huntsville, we are seeing you all open up about the struggles of co-parenting, which is very Very commendable, I must say. But let me ask you a question. What do you think is the biggest challenge that you two are facing when it comes to co-parenting? And question number 2, how are you working through it?
Our difference of opinions in what raising kids, period. Like the amount of responsibilities, I think for me right now is the amount of responsibilities that I feel children should have. And us as parents should enforce. And I think he's a little more lax in that particular area. And so it causes us a little, head bump trying to raise a teenager.
Yeah, I think that the fact that Kimmi has raised Jalen, and Jalen's doing excellent and amazing right now, is a feather in her cap as far as that she's already been there, done that. We're raising Monster right now, and even though things are different, even with Monster and Jalen, sometimes we still have a difference of opinion, even though I know that she's been successful in raising the young man.
I don't want to belabor a point, but I just can't help but notice, Kimmi, you look very uncomfortable right now.
Me?
Yeah, are you?
No, see, I'm not uncomfortable. What's funny, I guess to me, is that listening to the questions, and sometimes I think that he doesn't always answer the question at hand. And so I'm not uncomfortable at all, but sometimes in my head, I'm like, that's kind of not what she said. Or like, she kind of hit you the ball 2 times and you kind of let it go 2 times. So I'm not uncomfortable, but in my head, I'm just trying not to interrupt him or guide his answer in another direction. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just trying to listen to, his response.
I understand what you're saying, Kimmi, woman to woman. I think your husband loves you. It's obvious you love him. There's clearly a disconnect in the communication as a third party looking in. And I'm no expert because I'm not married. You guys are. But I've been in relationships that are similar to this. And my advice would be, Maurice, you don't have to be inside of her to know how she thinks she's your wife. You see her every day. You know when she's sad. You know when something hurts her feelings. And Kimmi, I think you really protect him because there's a public light on you, and I get it. Because you don't want the public coming for your man. You love him. But at the end of the day, you can't fully heal from anything when you're emotionally fucked up. And Maurice, your job is to make sure your wife feels good and, bend over and take it. This would be the perfect opportunity to rephrase it. You don't have to. I've been pushing it. You don't have to. But it would have been nice to hear some kind words to rephrase that. Because if I heard a man say that about me, I'd be fucking horrified. Never met. And she has to already go through so much. And you said it. Your wife is willing to go. I've been with a fine-ass man that are beautiful and everything is perfect in our relationship. Not perfect, but things are good in our relationship. But I'm turned off from something small. I couldn't imagine going through chemo and what that feels like. And then having the magnifying glass of a reality show, talking shit. Just be mindful as a couple because it will tear you apart. Been there, done that. I'm not telling you this from someone that hasn't. And I really hope y'all get through this because there is love, obviously. But the communication it's like you guys are going like this, And I don't know if it sounds like talking at each other or not.
So Maurice and Kimmi, we love y'all so much. And soulmates, y'all make sure that y'all catch Love and Marriage Huntsville on Saturdays, 8, 7 Central on. Coming up next,
that interview was hard to watch, and I'm sure it was probably hard for y'all to listen to. One thing that I got from this interview is that Kimmi gonna ride for her no matter how stupid he sound and no matter how stupid her ass looks. She gonna ride for her. And that's just what it is. It's all damage control. That's all this interview was. It was basically damage control. Like, it was really nothing. Like, they wasn't really answering no questions, like, really doing that at all. Like, they was just simply up there, doing this, saying whatever sounds good. And that's just it. You know what I mean? That's just the hell it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I don't know. Like, I don't understand. I don't get it. And, the communication is off. And Maurice is an asshole. And he's been showing himself to be an asshole for a while now. I've been looking at him very cockeyed for a while now. He's been showing himself to be an asshole. And that's just that's just the truth of it all. That's just the truth of it all. And Kimmy's going to continue to ride for his ass and make herself look dumb in the process. And if that's what she wants to do, then that's what she wants to do. It is her marriage. She can do whatever she wants. But Maurice is not considerate of her or her feelings or anything like that. Because if he was even remotely considerate of her issues or her feelings or anything in regards to her, he never would have made them bum ass statements that he even made on that damn interview that he had with Carlos King. He never would have said the things that he said if he had any thought about how she may feel or how she may look. And that's why you're getting attacked. And now not only are you getting attacked on social media, but now everybody got strong opinions about your wife because of the things that you said. And now she feel like she got to come out and clean up your mess because you sounded like a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? So that's really all I got on it, honestly. That's really all I got, because I'm just sitting here listening to this shit and I'm just like, girl, you don't see how he got you looking out here? But again, it ain't really up to me. It's up to Kimmi to see that her husband is a damn fool and got her looking like a damn fool too. But whatever, you know, like I said, it ain't my place, nor is it my business. But we can move on. That's about it, you guys. So this be your boy Scotty by Nature TV. Be sure to like, rate, comment, subscribe, share this video, and also click on the notification bell so you can be notified whenever a video drops. And if you want to follow me on any form of social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, and my TikTok will be down below in the description box. So with that being said, you guys, your boys up out of here. And until my next video, I will holler at you guys a little bit later. Okay? Bye, y'all.